Hey y'all, welcome back to Twin Oaks Family Farm, rural Southeast Ohio, USA. Thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel, Twin Oaks Farm Poultry, and we're checking chickens. So we've been over in the egg production buildings, and these came out of a flock that's mixed breeds. These came out of a flock that's all production reds. We actually have about 30, hey y'all, about 30 laying hens. All Gus is doing egg inspection for us. We actually, so those have just been collected, haven't been washed yet, and will be washed and chilled and used for egg production sales. But we have about 30 hens actively laying in each of those flocks, and then the flock with mixed breeds has 12 juvenile, like pullets, juvenile hens that aren't laying eggs yet, that will come into production probably by the end of August, maybe. So we really just about every year get replacement hens for our small egg production operation. And then basically when the hens reach about 2.5 years of age, we're trying to move those hens on to new homes where they can be like backyard chickens and provide eggs for a family, for just a homestead. And then we're replenishing with younger hens, and that just gives us confidence that we're always going to have a steady supply of egg production to offer to our egg sale customers. But what we're doing right now is going down to the meat bird barn. The temperatures are rising, so I'm going to close these up. Obviously, we'll clean those up before we send them out to customers, but the dogs, are always helping me around the buildings, and they're interested in those too. Actually, these dogs don't like to eat eggs. We have two other dogs, and we just have those in cartons there that we repurpose for collecting. In fact, give you a couple tips on that here as we do this video. But we want to go down to the meat bird barn because temperatures are rising. So it had been like around 60 this morning, 60 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm walking over to the egg production barn. We'll go ahead and give you that tip. So had been around 60. So we don't have any fans blowing on the meat birds right at this moment. But temperatures are climbing and going to get warm today, probably around 90 degrees Fahrenheit at least, and that's about 20, maybe even pushing 25 degrees warmer than those meat birds want to be. So now it's getting to be about 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's pretty much our benchmark for where we have month-old birds right now, the Cornish rock crust meat chickens. They don't want to be warmer than 80 degrees Fahrenheit. They probably want to be around 75 degrees to 80 degrees Fahrenheit is kind of our benchmark reference point. So I'm going to actually go down and put fans on them, but I'll show you this. Those egg cartons made me think of it. This is our production reds. It's shadowed there because they're inside their chicken coop. They are beautiful. They're a hybrid of New Hampshire reds and Rhode Island reds, but we have a little, this is from a dog kennel, portable dog kennel, this set of panels. So we put it there so that we can leave their door open in the daytime. There's an opening on this backside to let them out into their chicken run, but having that open too allows more airflow in there. But the larger can is actually a feed can. So we have a feed room, but we can actually just have feed right here beside their doorway. So that's one tip. You can have, if you have room for it and you have something that will keep moisture out, you can have like a large feed can right beside your doorway to your coop, so that if there's a time when you're in a hurry, for feeding, the feed is right there, and you want to keep the moisture out of it, so it needs to be something that'll keep it dry. And then another thing we do with feed is, like, at the end of the day, even when everybody's all fed, you can fill you can fill whatever size bucket you use or holder you use for feeding your hens. Like, you can go ahead and fill that and have it ready and have it sitting down in a large feed can like that, and it'll be ready to go for your birds when you come out the next morning or whenever you need to feed. And it shaves, maybe just seconds, but could shave minutes off of your routine. And if you're on a busy schedule, that can help a whole lot. But then this other can, we keep this can here too, and inside of it, let me open that up hot. Inside of it are actually egg cartons. Okay, so it's clean inside the can. And these are like egg cartons from store-bought eggs that people have shared their egg cartons with us. Oh, here's Gus and Tanner again. So thanks for spending a few minutes with me here at our little place. But those are, pardon me, those are egg cartons that people have shared with us. So for the eggs that we sell, we actually buy cartons, and we have labels printed, and we have a consistent aesthetic to the eggs that we sell to those cartons. But we still generally, if we have room for them, we'll accept repurposed cartons from other people. And those are handy when you're checking eggs. We have egg baskets, but then like if we find ourselves up here at the barn without our egg baskets, then we can just reach in that can and get those repurposed egg cartons and use them for collecting eggs. So that's really handy for us. So that might be a tip that y'all can use as well. If you have a bunch of old egg cartons, you know, you could just keep them in a place that will keep them clean and moisture out of them, right by your hen house, your chicken coop, your egg production site. And then at least you would have something that's going to keep those eggs in good shape between gathering them and processing them, whatever you do with them inside the house or inside wherever your workspace is. So I'll come back up and get those, but those were the ones collected this morning. We'll check eggs again about 3 times during the day, but I want to get down to the meat bird production barn. Hey, no kidding. This is July 12th, 2024. So we're just like a week after Independence Day, United States of America, July 4th holiday. And with that holiday falling the way it did, it like shortened up that work week, gave us a long weekend. And so then this week, everybody's back to like whatever their work routine is. It kicked my bottom. I mean, it's Friday, July 12th. I'm tired. This week has worn me out. So we're going to take a look in the meat bird barn here. I want to give you a look at the birds. And really the main thing we're doing in here right now is just getting fans turned on. So I'm just going to take you with me to do that chore. So this video really was just some of the mundane routine things that we do around the place and just bringing you along with me. So thanks for joining me for some of the choring here at the barn. So we're like late morning on this day. I can see that the birds are getting warm because like we see the panting. Okay, so as far as today, what's been done in this building so far is waters were checked and topped off. Feed dispensers, the feeders, they were checked. They still have feed in them. We're not going to add feed until probably this evening. And the doorways were opened up. And that was probably about 6 a.m. And at that time, fans had been running to prevent it, you know, getting stuffy or still air in here overnight, even though it was cooler overnight, like in the 60s. But, oh, how did dog get underfoot? But we had the guys turn the fans off this morning because we were like at 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And so now that it's getting like 80, we want to be able to get some air moving more so in here for these birds again. So we're going to turn them back on. And let me show you something before I turn them on that birds do. So yeah, so you're seeing, like, this is why we're turning the fans on, okay? Because they're showing us it's warm. But this is something with Cornish rock cross meat chickens y'all should be aware of. So see here under our doorway, there's enough room that they can scoot back in there. So there's pieces of scrap wood there, and we set those up to make a barricade that keeps them out here where they can't get in under there. But they've knocked all that down. And then likewise over at this doorway, we have the same issue. So this is the only side of the building we have this issue on. At first glance for y'all, okay, so see there, I mean, they're clear under that doorway. So at first glance for y'all, this probably looks like a construction flaw, a design flaw, because we have this problem because this set of doors opens in. But the reason that set of doors had to open in is because we have sheds right here So we didn't want, like, obviously for that one, we couldn't have a door for this side opening out and blocking that doorway up if we wanted to leave that doorway open and access that door. So it is kind of a design conundrum for us, because then it created this gap where these birds go. But that's what I wanted to show you. These birds they'll like wedge in a place that is not a good place for them to be. And then they actually create more problems for themselves because it's hot there. You know, I don't know if they perceive it to be cooler, but let's get some fans on and then we'll wrap it up. But just wanted to bring you along. So they're still plugged in. So super simple. We're just going to turn them on. And then I'll come back through here and make sure that we get all those birds out of there and barricade it off so they can't press back in there again. But what I'm thinking is, like, we kind of had this here kind of like to help us envision. I think what we're going to try to do is use just lumber and panel like this right here, and actually maybe close this in that way so that it stays open as far as an airway, a breezeway, but we don't have to open and close the doors. And then whatever we set up here with like our doorway and a barricade, we can make it semi-permanent. Because see, look, I mean, seriously, they got themselves so packed in here. You know, that's going to get hot for them. So I'm just going to gently encourage them to get up. I'm not even touching them. Anytime you run something overhead of birds, it triggers them to be wary that maybe there's a predator. So that's an easy way to apply some gentle pressure to get them to move. Okay, so same with these. So what I'm trying to do is get them to either go around the door or go under the door, but they're so big now they can't go under the door anymore. Okay, there I am touching them. I'm just letting that touch their tail feathers. I'm not doing anything else. So if I need to get them around the door, and then see, they want to go right back. Okay, so if I can get this fan set back up here, at least get some air blowing, they're gonna like that. Okay, so let's turn it on. They're gonna like that. Okay, and then I gotta come back here. I can't do it while I'm running the camera, but I gotta come back here and I gotta get those boards there, and I'll make a barricade. Okay, so there's that side of the barn, and that's gonna actually help them a lot. Okay, so while I'm wrapping up here, I want to tell y'all, you gotta love the hate comments. You gotta love the hate comments. YouTube creators kind of go through a learning curve with hate comments, and I have, you know, I've gone through a learning curve with it. We've had some just rude comments, and when I say that, I don't mean like someone doesn't like the way I do things, or someone says, hey, I think you got some information wrong. I can handle that. Okay, so I just turned that one on. I can handle somebody saying, hey, you got some information wrong, check the information out. I can handle that. That's fine. But sometimes we get comments that are just mean-spirited, inaccurate. You can almost tell either the commenter didn't watch the video or didn't finish the video, or is just saying something random based on a first impression of the thumbnail, you know, something silly. So these are waiting for the fan to be turned on. So we had a comment yesterday, in fact, that I removed, and I hope it actually removed. It's still showing up when I run the video up. It's still showing up, but hopefully it actually removed it and other people aren't seeing it, because it was just so negative. But it was like a picture similar to this on the thumbnail, with birds gathered around eating from a feeder. And so, like, say like this bird here, see how the feathering is sparse? So several of the birds in this group that were at a feeder like this looked like that. And so the commenter, the first thing they say is something like, these birds are poorly cared for. They don't have enough space. Folks, don't subscribe to this channel. And went on to say that obviously these birds were missing feathers because they'd been fighting. It isn't funny to watch chickens fighting, and they're poorly cared for. And at that point, there was actually more, but I stopped reading. So let me get this fan on and I'll finish up with that thought. But these here too, they know that some of the time moving air comes from this. They're waiting for that air. So see, that's how your birds can actually get themselves in a bad position. If they perceive that something is going to make them more comfortable, but it isn't actually doing anything to make them more comfortable, they can actually like overheat themselves just waiting for something to happen. So let's turn that on. Okay. So like there's another one that's sparsely feathered, but that doesn't have anything to do with that any birds have been fighting. These birds haven't been fighting, and they have adequate space. They have plenty of space, actually. So that whole comment, I knew when I read these birds are missing feathers because they've been fighting. It's not funny to watch chickens fighting. And I knew what the thumbnail was. I thought, this person has just seen this thumbnail and doesn't have accurate information and is being mean-spirited. And I just pressed remove. I didn't even finish reading the comment. But it did inspire some things. We're going to do a video next week about their sparse feathering. I want to talk a little bit about that. And we'll do a video again about stocking density and space considerations with meat chickens. Kind of inspired that. But it just, you know, even though I removed it and I'm like, okay, you know, that was just somebody being mean-spirited, like it still weighs heavy on you. It still kind of hurts your feelings. But anyway, so I hope that isn't showing up. It was, I forget which video it even was now, but I know the thumbnail is the birds are circled up around there eating. And I just thought, how silly, you know. So anyway, but I just had to say, like, you just gotta love the hate comments because sometimes they're just so ridiculous. But anyway, but it did kind of inspire some ideas for some other videos. But I guess just in my own defense, I would want to assure people, you know, these birds are well taken care of. There is a lot of human time and sweat equity invested in being present in the meat bird barn, seeing what they need, being responsive to those needs, and taking care of it. And we work really, really hard at it. There's 5 people in my family. Everybody here helps and plays some part in it every day. So also, when you see meat chickens that look sparsely feathered like that, I want y'all to know that is normal for this kind of chicken. That chicken's feathers have not been broken. That chicken hasn't been losing feathers. There are legitimate reasons for why they feather like this, and some feather in faster and some just don't. So we will do a video in the next week during the week of July 15th that sort of talks about some of that. But I'm confident that my flocks are well taken care of. I'm confident that my flocks have enough space, and I'm confident that we are doing a good job with flock management. So I say all that because then that makes me confident that I know in our goal to produce homegrown top quality poultry, I know that we are making an excellent, wholesome, and nutritious food out of this process. So at any rate, all I can say is thank you so much, viewers and subscribers, for supporting our channel, for your time and effort watching. I know we are a low budget, really just straightforward video presentation of just telling you about what's going on and giving you some of the, you know, other things that go on around the place here. But we really appreciate the opportunity to show you what's involved in producing great chicken. So thanks for joining us at Twin Oaks Farm Poultry. We hope you'll join us some more, and please subscribe to the channel. We're creeping our way closer to 1,000 subscribers, and that's all because of y'all. God bless you.